Hello folks, and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party and Let's Try Suicide Guy. It's developed by Fabio Ferrara, it's published by Chubby Pixel, it's available on Steam for $4.99 for Windows, Steam Play, and Mac. It supports Steam achievements, trading cards, leaderboards, and has full controller support, though I will be playing with the keyboard and mouse. I'll also be playing a press copy that was provided to me for free in order to make this video. All relevant links will be in the description below the video. So before we hop in here, just to kind of background on the story, because I can't really play the intro cinematic without wiping my save data, and I don't want to do that because I want to be able to revisit any stages I've been to previously. Long story short, our hero here is watching TV, drinking his beer, falls asleep on the couch and starts to drop his beer and enters dreamland. And as we all know, in a dream, you can't die. Right as you're about to die, you wake up. So the idea here is you have to wake yourself back up to avoid the disaster of dropping your... And we have a little bit of a, what do you call it? What was that movie with the dream within a dream kind of a situation? Because this diner area is your lobby. This is where you progress through the stages. There are 24 stages, I believe. Yes, 24 stages. And right now I can go to any of them because I've, like I said, I beat the game. And normally this door is closed, but again, because I've beat the game, I can actually go out there. So the idea is that you go through these stages one by one and unlock the next stage. And let's start with, let's see, what was that one? I'm trying to find a good one to start with. Let's go with this one. I don't remember what this one is, but let's try. Is that within the dream, you're going to these kind of sub-dream areas. And they're all these various places. One thing I do like about the game a lot is that the mission areas are quite varied. Like there's a lot of difference between them. There's a lot of references to like fantasy or like, kind of, I don't know what you would say, tropish type places. Like we're in the spaceship. There's a fantasy area with a dragon. There's references to other video games, popular video games, things like that. A nice variety of levels. The levels tend to be quite short, but there is quite a few. This is actually not a great one to have started on, but that's all right. But anyways, I was saying before, you start off in the diner area, which is like the hub, but it's also in the dream. And then within the dream, you hop into these sub-dreams where you have to basically kill yourself. And then once you've done that, you can move on to the next stage. And then once you've done them all, you can kill yourself again and wake up and hopefully save that beer bottle from crashing to the floor. So there's two main things. I'm moving with WASD, as you would imagine. You have a left click, which like activates. You can also press E, and that will, for these bigger blocks, you can drag them, or just bigger objects, whether they be blocks, treasure chests, maybe even cows or goats, perhaps, maybe, later on. No spoilers, but yeah, there might be those things. So we came in here, we turned that on, and we see that this power cord here has lit up, as power cords do. You all know that when power cords light up, or whenever there's power to a power cord, it lights up. You all know that. Now, the same reason I say this one is probably not a great one to start on is because you actually can't, this is the only mission that I can think of, bugs withstanding, that you can actually do something where it screws you up and you have to restart the level. Let's push this down here. Okay, good. Because to get back out of here, we have to have two of these stacked up on top of each other. Come on. Let's actually press E. You don't have to press E, you can actually just push things. And come on, there we go. There we go. And things light up, as you can see, whenever you can interact with them. And also, and this gets a little annoying, I started to tune it out mentally after a while, but it does get a little annoying, as you can see when we highlight stuff. It makes a ding noise. Little annoying, could have done without that, but again, I kind of just mentally tuned it out eventually. All right, so now, and you can also hold forward, or W in this case, to pull yourself up. There we go. I think I was supposed to push that around, but I found a way around it. So now that we've done that, let's go back on out. You can crouch. And the nice thing about the game, I do like when you get to a enclosed space like this, it actually auto crouches for you. You don't have to press control. My life is complicated enough without having to push one more button. So, this button, what does this do? Oh, it makes us go forward, and we can see up there is the sun. So let's take a look at some of our controls. The sun seems like a really great object for killing yourself. Let's, oh. You have to keep flipping the switch. Oh. And unfortunately, you can't just stop it. You have to kind of line it up until it gets lined up there. And then, oh. All right, we're going forward. So we can only do one direction at a time. So this is honestly one of the more kind of agitating puzzles because you kind of have to run between the spots really quick. There's no, hey, just stop what you're doing. So let's get close. I'm gonna go actually past it a little bit so I can be ready to go up. There we go. Oh, that's just about perfect, I think. I think we're ready to embrace the warm embrace, or ready to go into the warm embrace of the sun. And there we go. So you don't ever really see yourself get killed. There's no animation for it. There's, you know, which, you know, on one level is kind of lacks that satisfaction of completing the way you kill yourself, which might sound really twisted in another context. But on the other hand, I can kind of see why they would have left it out, because that could be the game is obviously very lighthearted. Just looking at some of the notes and other things like that, it's supposed to be a very lighthearted game. Despite being called Suicide Guy. I'm gonna eat these hot dogs and hamburgers, of course. Hey, I'm a Dream. I can eat whatever I want, and it won't hurt my weight at all. But yeah, so despite the Suicide Guy thing, it does try to be, remain somewhat lighthearted. Let's try the Lighthouse next. And again, I'm hopping around levels. I don't want to show you a variety so that you can get an idea of what to expect. So we see a big white whale out there. It actually kind of looks like a squid. We found a book, Moby Duck, which is slightly different than the classic, I would imagine. Oh, and we interacted with the lamp and the bulb fell out. So, in a lighthouse. So what we could do? Throw this in here, press E to drop it. And what do you know, a lamp light bulb works just fine in a lighthouse. Makes total sense to me. Again, we're in a dream world, so you can kind of look the other way. Speaking of looking the other way, we're gonna kind of irritate this whale a little bit. Just because we can, because we're major jerks, apparently. We're not gonna let that whale sleep. Let's see where he took off to. While we wait for the whale to pop back up, let's talk about some of the positives and the negatives about this game, because I think you can understand where this puzzle is going, at least so far. So one of the big negatives, I'll tell you right off the bat, is the game's pretty darn buggy. The most annoying bug is a sound issue. There are some stages where there's background noises. Like the ocean here isn't too bad. Oh God. Like the ocean here isn't too bad, but there's other areas where it's like blaringly loud. Like it's to the point where the audio is actually peaking and it causes distortion in the audio. That happens in quite a few places. And there was a few places where I actually needed to take my headset off because I lowered my headset volume to minimum and it was still too loud. So hopefully that's something that gets fixed. To their credit, the developers / publishers have released a few, I think we've made him mad. I think we've irritated him. Oh God, he's so mad he clipped right on through the lighthouse. Oh, so it looks like he damaged our light magnifier here. Because this is no use. Well, let's go ahead and take the light bulb out. And let's put it back where it was. There we go. Oh, you want some of this? You come back for more? One-on-one me, bro. One-on-one me. Like to see you ready to talk a big game. Like you see you come get some. How you like them apples? Yeah, go call your boys. But anyway, to the developers' credits, they have actually done a few patches since release, which was not that long ago. So hopefully they'll continue to fix issues. There's other just general wonkinesses, or as you may want to call them, or as I tend to call it, indie game jank. Like things just feel a little bit floaty. As you saw, like the whale clipping through the side of the lighthouse, you'll see a lot of that, but some of that is just kind of a little bit of jank. Some of it is just flat out bugs that I would like to see get fixed. For example, I've had issues where I fall through the world. I've had an issue where I was able to solve a puzzle by clipping through the window, and I'm pretty sure I wasn't supposed to do that. Things like that definitely should be fixed. Another one, every time I would get into this crane, it would jump up and down, and every time I would get in it, like leave and get back in, the jumpiness would actually get worse. But as far as the positives, I'm trying to find another level to hop into. Again, I don't want to make too, or I don't want to solve too many because again, that kind of, the purpose of this game is to, you know, is to get the puzzles. You know, let's go with, this one was a weird one and kind of long. Kind of gives you, show you kind of the game. And see, here's what I'm talking about, where the audio is like, some of this audio is really loud. I'm going to turn that radio off because the game's already loud enough as it is. So I will be solving this puzzle as I kind of talk about the positive and negatives here, because this will probably be the last puzzle I do. I'm going to push this up here. But the puzzles, they range from your standard... Oh. Cow? Oh, there he is. I guess, or he, or actually, I guess that's a he. I guess she got annoyed with my pushing her. But we can grab and shove the cow, which I love the way this slides without any animation. That I find that endlessly amusing. But the puzzles are pretty simple. I would say on average, maybe 10 to 15-ish minutes. The early puzzles are probably going to get solved really, really quick for you. Actually, I think we need you over here first. The puzzles start off really easy, and are actually, I would say, very easy until you get to 20-ish. On occasion, there was one that would stump me, but for the most part, I was knocking them out pretty quick, which, you know, on some hand, on some token, is a good thing. I'm not getting frustrated and waiting on it, you know, or, you know, banging my head trying to figure the puzzle out. There you go. But on the other hand, you know, those of you who want a tougher challenge, like some tougher puzzles, might be a little disappointed on the difficulty level of the challenge of the puzzles. Only one puzzle would I really consider myself stumped on, the Zeppelin puzzle, which obviously I'm not going to spoil, but it was, I consider that one kind of a BS puzzle. Like, you had to really look for this one particular thing and kind of had to wander around to find said thing. But yeah, overall the puzzles were, I would definitely rate them as being easy. A lot of times it was one of the deals where you know what the answer to the puzzle is, and it's more of running around and doing the solving of the puzzle that, you know, that takes most of the time, not you sitting here, like, you know, thinking hard about how to fix or solve the puzzle. I don't even know what this box is for yet. I think I need it per se, because now we can go back up here. So if we hit that button, come over. But yeah, some of the standard puzzles you'll see are like pushing blocks onto buttons, that kind of a thing. But again, there is a variety, as you're about to see here. There are some jumping puzzles, like I don't know if you call it jumping, but first-person platforming, which I'm not crazy about. Bye-bye, Cal. I love that. Again, like, you can see what I would call the indie jank, the animation or lack thereof of the cow just flying through the roof. It has its charm. It has its charm. I will definitely say that. So we're going to use this to burn the rope, because hey, why not? Hopefully we don't burn a hole through the roof. God, that would suck to die. Oh, we found some fireworks, but I can't do anything with them. Gee, I wonder if there's a way to light the fireworks. I would say most puzzles, from looking at it, like within a couple seconds of joining the room or whatever you want to call it, you'll probably figure out what the answer to the puzzle is going to be. Some like this are definitely much less obvious as we burn to death here. There are collectibles. Every stage except one has little trophies that you can find. Honestly, I found every single one on my very first playthrough, except, ironically, the very first one. Because it's in the tutorial stage and I didn't think it would actually be there. Oh well, jump into the fire. Everything's fine. This is how I want. But I actually missed one on the tutorial level, so I actually got all of the extras. I would say the statues are pretty easy to get. Now, I'll join another stage, but I won't solve it. That way you guys can kind of see it and try to figure out what to do. There was one. Oh, that's the Zeppelin one. I hated that one, to be honest. Let's join this one. I don't remember what it is, but we'll kind of look at this thing one. I like this one because it was very different, and I just realized that every time I join a stage, it's like the recording is stopping and starting. So I apologize if whenever I'm leaving or joining a stage, it cuts out for a second or two. But this one's pretty cool because there's two trivia, or not trivia, but carnival games you can play to get tickets, and then you can use those tickets to buy stuff. But then you can use the things that you buy in order to get tickets faster. And again, I'm going to be intentionally vague as far as that goes. Just again, because I don't want to ruin all the puzzles, because that's kind of the point of a puzzle game. But we're going to wrap up here. Again, there wasn't really a whole lot I wanted to show here, because I think you get the gist of how this works. You join a stage, you go into a stage. The puzzle is how to kill yourself. And most of the time, it's fairly self-evident what you need to do that. The trick is getting to that point. So, for example, you might see a very like a high place that you can jump off of at the top of a large building, but you have to figure out how to get to the top of the building. Or you might find a tub with a radio next to it. It's like, okay, well, I can jump in the tub, turn the water on, and throw the radio in. But of course, it's not that easy. There's always something to prevent you from doing that. You've got to solve the puzzles. Overall, I would say it's a very charming game. There's definitely a lot of bugs that I hope that they fix. You can definitely get that indie jank feel where things aren't quite right. But I still enjoyed myself. I enjoyed it enough to where I got to a point in the stage and I was like, okay, I'm solving these puzzles fairly quickly. I'm enjoying myself. I kind of want to see the other stages. I want to see the other types of puzzles that this game has to offer. So I actually pushed through and beat the whole game. Again, it only took me about 3 hours. So, keep that in mind. And again, that was with collecting all the trophies. There's not really any reason to go back through. I can't see why. The game supposedly does support leaderboards, but I didn't mess with that at all. So I have no idea how all of that works. My main gripe with this game, like I say, is just the general, not the jankiness, but the actual bugs, the sound issues. A time or two, a puzzle would become uncompletable because I either fell through the world. Like one time in particular, I kept falling through the world, so I had to go back out to the diner area, which you can do. In fact, we're going to do that now, and I'm going to stop talking because it's going to probably restart the recording. And you can go in here and you can do, continue, which starts you back into the diner if something like that happens. But even doing that, I kept falling through the world in the diner. I had to restart the entire game, and then that fixed the problem. So there was definitely more bugs than I would have liked to have seen in a game this short and honestly kind of this simple. Again, it is only $5, so keep that in mind. I'll go ahead and show you guys the options while I kind of wrap up here. You got your resolution options. You guys can read all that, but I'll kind of wrap up my thoughts as I go through this. Again, I like the variety of the stages. I like the obvious nods to tropey type stuff. Again, the fantasy, the flying in the blimp, the flying in a space station, as well as the nods to other popular video games. Those were cool. I really like the variety of the levels. Again, a lot of the puzzles were very simple, so there wasn't that satisfaction of figuring out a tough puzzle. But they were enjoyable enough to keep me going to see what silly way that you were going to find to get yourself killed in the next level. But yeah, overall, I like it. Again, if you don't have much tolerance for bugs, or if you're wanting a longer game, then $5 for a 3-hour experience, again, including collectibles, might be a bit too much for you. But if you're looking for kind of a light-hearted puzzle game that's fairly simple to do, maybe check out Suicide Guy. Again, I will have a link to it in the description below the video. Also, this game does have one major sin that it falls. It does not properly trap the mouse in borderless windowed mode. Hopefully that's something that gets fixed, because that is something that is very high on my irritation scale. But overall, like I say, I enjoyed my time playing it. You'll have to decide if you think it was worth $5 from what I've showed here. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought of the game, if you've tried it, if you decided to buy it. Let me know if you have any questions. Of course, I can answer those. Also, like my videos if you like them. It does help me out a lot. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, covering games you might not have heard of, make sure to subscribe. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.